because they're like, wait, I live in this town or I live here. So it's a lot more work because obviously instead of you being able to put 3 ad copies together and just blanketing them across the fucking whole state, you're going to have to make 30 different ad copies and hyper target them around the little neighborhoods of New York to just have a higher probability of that person reading that ad.
So many of my smartest friends hit me up immediately. I'm like, yo, you can't do this. You look stupid. This is crazy. Like, what are people gonna think? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? You mean you want me to pander to the ivory towers?
Bustin' off, the pumping, all the shit jumping off. Look to a trip, to the mall. 30 clips, XNO, nigga. Shooters don't go off the wind blow, nigga. We'll miss, low, nigga. You hit, little nigga. If I don't got it, my dick gon' get you. One in your head, you in your bag. We in your crib, you axed out. 2 in your head, you boo in your bag. Jump on the chest with wet blouse. Shows in the feds, I call him cadet. I throw him a strap, he white in your mouth. O's and depth, I go get home. I go in the trunk and text out. I don't care what you say, cause you know I'm dope. Got the checks in my head, cause you know I'm dope. They used to dope shit, now they try to be my dope.
Yeah, you know what? That's not like, I don't usually do that. I've been doing this like 7-day-a-week thing, and like, I don't know, it just helps me to go to the gym, so I've been kind of sticking to it, but I should probably take a break. I normally take Sundays off. I appreciate that. So, give me a little background so I kind of know where I can help you.
I tried to do a single car with a short form copy, and it worked really well.
Okay.
But the issue is he's doing online applications for cars, right? So
Right.
I give him the lead. The leads are interested in buying a car. He sends them application online to fill it and just buy the car.
Right.
They don't fill it.
Right. That's pretty common.
That's the main.
About the car dealership industry is like SMMA, it's direct marketing. So it means that you're doing outreach, you're trying to get in front of people and you're reaching out to them to try and bring them into the business. With car dealerships, they're all relatively selling the same product, whether it's used or new cars. They're selling cars, and there's so many car dealerships like everywhere you go that the only thing that they can compete on, kind of price, but not really price. I can talk more about that in a minute, but like mainly it's going to be like brand. Like when a customer, I mean, it's 2 things. Whether the car dealership has the specific car that the customer wants if they're buying like used, and then if it's a new car dealership, it's going to be brand. Like what's their reputation like? Are they like the dealership that everybody knows, blah, blah, blah. So like in general, when you're marketing for dealerships, the real only way to do it, in my opinion, successfully is to do like brand marketing, where you're doing like awareness campaigns and you're doing like educational content and like, doing stuff like that. But like, I understand that almost no dealership wants to pay. Like, it's hard enough to just get people to pay for social media advertising, where there's like measurements of like the metrics, and then trying to take that to the next level of being like, hey, we got to run like a awareness campaign to like get your name out in the community and like go, sponsor baseball. Like nobody wants to hear that shit. So like the fact that he was like understanding that like, okay, I do need to give someone money to get my name out there on the internet through social media. So if this guy's going to do it for me, whatever the price you offer me, it seems reasonable. That's a good sign. Like that's a good client that you have, because he's understanding that like whatever you're doing, it's getting his name out there, and that's already a good thing for him. So that's a good place to start from. Now, the second part is when it comes to the credit applications, at least here in the US, in my experience, like I said, I've been in the dealership industry for 10 years. I've done everything from sales to finance. I used to own my own custom car shop. I had like 2 locations. So like I've been like deep in the automotive industry. Nobody really wants to fill out like a credit app online. It's a very small amount of people that fill out credit apps online, unless you're dealing with a dealership that specifically works with people who have bad credit. The people with bad credit are almost always willing to fill out a credit app online because they want to know if they're going to get approved for the car before they make the drive out there or before they do anything. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be a waste of time. They know their credit's like really, really bad. So they're willing to give out that information. But if he's not specifically one of those bad credit dealers, he's probably dealing with the average consumer, which is probably not going to be as willing to just be passing their information over the internet, because they've heard horror stories of dealerships have a reputation of when they give your credit information, they like send it off to like 20 banks, and then your credit score tanks, and it's a negative stigma in the industry. So you're probably going to have a difficult time converting people if you're relying on that relationship, at least in the payment sense, to be based off of credit applications. However, generating the leads for them, it seems like it was already working to begin with, and on top of it, it's probably a better method for him anyway. I don't think it's a bad idea to still send them the a call to action with like a credit app, just in case. There's going to be 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100 people that might actually fill it out, and then that's great. But the rest of them, you still have the lead, and they still do the normal like call and follow, because I'm assuming they do the call and follow up then on their end.
Actually, when I signed up, with this client, we got like, all right, so when I know the client which specific cars he wants,
Okay.
I'm going to give it to you. But when he's not aware, like I'm not aware of which car he wants, it's my turn. And I have a script actually to just use. So
Got you.
if I have to be honest, if I have to be honest, I can do the call, right? But I'm not the dealership owner,
Right.
I don't know how dealership owners talk exactly. There's a language there.
Yeah.
And I don't
So,
even know it. I just go.
not to cut you off, but you'll be all right. So dealerships, actually, I worked for one of the first dealerships that started doing this back in the day. About 5 or 6 years ago, they used to have, so the standard process was they would list the vehicles online, and then the salespeople would get the leads, and then they would make the calls. But the problem was, when customers came into the store, the salespeople are paid on commission, and they all want to jump up and take that first customer, and nobody wanted to be on the phones. So the dealerships realized that, oh fuck, we're getting these leads, and the salespeople are not calling them, and we're losing money because the first person that calls the lead, usually if that lead comes in and they pick up the phone, they call them right away, they have the highest chance of converting. So what they did is they made a separate department of non-salespeople who literally worked in an office. They didn't know anything about cars. They didn't know anything about sales. And their only job was to then take the lead. They were basically appointment setters. They would take the lead. They would call them. They would confirm, hey, is this the vehicle you wanted? Are you still interested? If it's yes, yes, and yes, is this your email? Is this your phone number? Is this your name? Yes. What time did you want to come in and see the vehicle? And then they confirm the time. They pass the lead back over to the salesperson or the sales manager, and then they have a firm appointment of when this customer is coming in. Now, the customer may or may not show for the appointment, but at that point, even if the customer doesn't show, then it's on the salesperson to follow up. But they got to it when it was still hot. You're basically filling that role for him. So you're basically doing, they call it a BDR department, like a business development resource department, whatever. There's different names, or BDC, business development center, but that's what they call them inside the dealerships. And almost all dealerships these days have one, unless they're really, really small. So you don't worry too much about knowing anything about the car. Do you have access to his website though, and he's got the inventory listed on the website, or is he really small? He just doesn't have a website. He just does stuff online.
So for background, he's in New York, and his small dealership has not many cars. If I have to be honest, some of the cars are really high priced, but it's because he bought them high priced.
Okay,
so
yeah.
He can do that.
Got it.
He has online. Yeah, he has website, but his website looks like it's made in the 20s.
Ah, okay. So, I mean, there's it's still okay. Smaller dealerships can still come. So I've worked at almost every type of dealership you can imagine, franchise dealerships with thousands of cars in inventory, exotic dealerships with Lamborghinis, Ferraris, small tiny dealerships where we only had 20 cars and I was the only salesperson, sales manager, finance manager, everything. So his cars being overpriced is definitely going to be a big struggle, because obviously people shop by price in this industry more than anything. But what kind of cars does he sell? Are they kind of all normal cars that you would think of, or are they specific luxury cars, kind of just older?
He sells normal cars, boring cars.
Gotcha, gotcha.
He has one Porsche, I think, or Ferrari, which was really old. It's like normal, regular
Gotcha.
used cars. They're not new, they're used.
Okay. Yeah, because the one strategy that we had when we had a dealership that was like 20 cars is we would buy very like specific, unique cars. So it would be like, I don't know how much you know about cars, but it would be like an E46 M3 with an active auto work supercharger kit. And, you can't just buy this off the shelf, So like, but that car would be worth more. And because we were a small dealership, we didn't have to pay for advertising, because if you wanted an active auto work supercharged E46 M3 in Laguna Seca Blue, we were the only one in the country that had one. So you paid more, you know what I mean? But like, if you just got regular cars, you're competing with everyone else. How many cars do you think he has? Like 20 to 40, 100, less than 20? 40? Okay. And then,
40 is a pretty big number.
okay, gotcha. And then you said he's got all of them listed online on his website?
I assume he has all of them.
Okay. So basically right now, it's interesting you were telling me that he's got you listing individual cars. So does he give you like specific cars that he just wants sold, and then you just list those and run ads on them?
No, actually, I'm going to tell you what's happening right now. I just do the ads. Like, I just pick a car which I think is
Gotcha.
going to sell like the fastest, and I just drop it.
Gotcha. Okay. That's actually an interesting strategy. It's actually not a terrible idea. The only problem is, obviously, I'm sure you probably thought of this, if someone comes across that car on their feed and they're not interested in it, they're probably going to scroll past it. Because again, usually with used cars, people are shopping for like a specific type of vehicle. But does he have any special like offers or anything that you can run? Like any like
No, sir.
nothing like that?
So that's why I make them myself. I just think what's the minimal thing I can do and just make it sound really good. Like,
Gotcha.
the last time I did something like this was claim your free drive
Okay.
video voucher.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just things like this.
Yeah. No, I mean, all that stuff's good. Just the problem that you're having is just the fact that it's such a competitive industry. And just to give you an idea, they were spending $75,000 a month in advertising, and they only had 120 cars. So yeah, yep. And it wasn't even in Chicago. So and that's like a small to medium sized dealerships. The bigger dealerships, they're even crazier. So you're competing against like, big fish. So that's the only reason it's just a struggle, is because it's hard to stand out when you got people with huge budgets like that. But the good news is, you can be different. I would consider, honestly, do you know if he's got like salespeople, or it's just like one guy and his like family?
He and a one colleague.
I would consider, I consider that to be an advantage, because when people are buying from dealerships, the biggest issue that they have in this country is trust. They just don't think that they can trust the dealership. They always think the dealership is scamming them. They think they're going to be fucked over. It's just a really bad stigma that we have in this society, because back in the 80s and 90s, that's what was happening. So the fact that you have a small dealership that's owned by one guy and his partner, I think is a huge advantage to the customer, because from a customer perspective, they're going straight to the horse's mouth. Like, when they go to buy a car, they're not dealing with some sleazy salesman or whatever. They're dealing with the guy that owns the dealership. This is his family that he's trying to feed. If he sells you this car, if he tells you this is a good car and it's not, you're going to spam him all over the internet, and you can potentially put him out of business, because he's just one small guy. And they might be more enthused to shop or more inclined to stop by, because they figure, hey, you know what? Like, it's just one guy. Like, I'm not as intimidated because it's not this big dealership. So I would consider either getting, like, if you could, it would be great if you could get him to do like a video or something, but I'm sure he might not want to. If you could get him to do like a photo of him and his partner, like in front of the store, or a photo of him in front of the car to promote, and then, you know, you use the name like, hey, this is Al from, you know, would love to have you come down, claim your free voucher for a test drive. Me and, you know, Todd are here every day from, you know, whatever copy you want to write that just, you know, makes it seem really sincere. If you can earn that trust, I think that's probably just the best strategy. It'll probably start boosting your lead count. And I mean, if you already generated 30 leads for this guy, the fact that him and his buddy are running this store himself, like, I guarantee you, bro, whatever you're doing, you have tens of fucking thousands of, in their eyes, you know, years of knowledge and experience compared to what they would ever do. That industry is so backwards when it comes to social media. So, you know, I think writing some good copy and then just putting them into it, or if they don't want to be into the photos, if they're okay with you saying like, hey, this is a family owned, or this is a, you know, me and my partner own this business, we're just two guys, we're not here to screw you over, you know, just write it in like a David and Goliath kind of, you know, concept where like you're fighting the big dealerships, like, hey, it's just us, you know, we sell good cars, we're here to serve the community, we're part of the community, kind of from that narrative. And then the same copy that, you know, the same, you know, if you just want to run the cars or run some pictures of the dealership, but just incorporate that it's a small dealership, I think that might work to an advantage rather than a disadvantage, you know, because I think people would trust it more. But that's about the only piece of advice that I can really give you in this industry, because ultimately, like I said, this game is a branding game when it comes to dealerships. Everyone's spending so much money on ad spend that running specific ads, usually when your customer encounters an ad, you only, I mean, I guess if you get in front of like a shit ton of people, you're gonna get the 2% that are ready to buy right now. But at the same time, if you don't have strong inventory and you got a small dealership and you don't got a big budget, the easiest way to go the furthest is to work on branding, which is, you know, putting out a lot of content, like videos where like you're walking them through this car, you're walking them through your service department, blah, blah. And then like nobody really does that because nobody has the money, the time, the effort, the energy to film. Like that's specifically what my company does, is it helps small business owners create daily content, you know, that's relevant to their consumers and build their brand, because so many people, like if you have a video production company, you're charging like $5,000 for fucking advertising, and it's just not realistic for a business. So if that's not an option to go that route, the media spend route that you're doing in advertising on social, pushing the fact that it's a small owned, like just two guys in a dealership, but you know, don't make it seem like it's not professional. Just make it seem like, hey, you know, we've got decades of experience in this industry and we went out and we created this dealership because we want to serve our community and all our cars are certified, and you know, whatever it is, whatever, you know, see if you can get some information about them, about, you know, if they certify their cars, if they offer warranties and stuff like that, so you can advertise we have warranties available for purchase, blah. But you have to have like some understanding of what you're trying to do for that person. Like it can't just be like, I'm trying to take money from them to run ads, and then if they drop off, like there's a lot of people that ask in that group, they're like, why is my customer retention going down? It's like, because your conversion on their ad spend is not good, and you know, how can you expect to just be getting more customers and just, okay, well, they're just going to drop off and the stupid ones are going to keep paying? You know, that's not the way to run it. And like, that's what happens when you're in an industry for 10 years, you understand it. But at the same time, me being in the industry for 10 years, I also know that like, fuck, dude, like you can create a really good marketing program for social media for them. And as you make it better and better, you offer, you know, you ask for more money. And if they don't give you more money, you either do it for free and just take the knowledge and then flip it and go elsewhere and like, hey, look what I did for this company. I took their social media from this following. I was generating them leads. I can do the same thing for you. And boom, now you're charging $3,000 to $5,000 flat rate for the service because you're doing the ad spend and you're running all their social, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And now you're packaging extra stuff and you're doing more than just running Facebook ads. Or, again, you just go to a different niche if you want to stick to just doing the media buying. Because like I said, it's going to be tough just doing the media buying in the dealership niche, even though those items are so high ticket.
Alright, so I'm not going to let you. I literally got every fucking idea you gave me. I got it sorted. So I really appreciate that. So I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, so well, one thing is, I would like to know, do you for what tip you found which is like pretty astonishing and generates the results? Like maybe certain interests or maybe short form to long form copy, because I see that long form copy is not working for me. So can you give me any tips on
Sure.
copy or maybe?
So with Facebook ads, I really think that the secret sauce to that, I don't think it changes across industry to industry. Like again, and again, this is like, you know, you got to understand like me being like, really the right way to do this is to do strategic organic content and then, you know, make it around, make videos daily and like don't press your consumer and I don't believe in direct marketing and brand marketing, blah, 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 blah. But like, I understand that's not realistic. So putting that aside, the best way if you're just doing media and you're just doing Facebook ads for someone and you can't do organic content and whatever, you got to run with stock images, is to make the ads contextual. So you want to segment your consumers, okay? You want to make the ad as specific to that person as possible. That is the easiest way to get their attention, which means you run the ads, instead of you running one ad or like 3 different types of ads with 3 different cars in the New York area, you run 1 or 2 different cars to like split test, but you run this ad in specifically little neighborhoods of New York and you hyper target them for like a 10-mile radius so that in the copy of the ad you can put, hey Albany, are you looking for the next big, you know what I mean? Versus saying, hey guys, we're a car, like when it pops up on their Facebook feed and it's targeted to residents of Albany or residents of, I don't know, just, you know, whatever neighborhood in New York, when it pops up like that, people are more intrigued because they're like, wait, I live in this town or I live here. So it's a lot more work because obviously instead of you being able to put 3 ad copies together and just blanketing them across the fucking whole state, you're going to have to make 30 different ad copies and hyper target them around the little, you know, neighborhoods of New York. But it's an easy way to get more, like to just have a higher probability of that person like reading that ad and they feel like, oh, hey, this company, and again, it really would be good for you and this dealership you're working at because you have that local mom and pop dealership vibe, whether it's family owned or not. So if they're like, hey, residents of Albany, like it's Todd and, you know, Steve from next, you know, Gen Auto and we're here, we want to just give you the best deals, whatever. People are like, oh, fuck, they're like right up the road. They don't even know. They probably don't even check the fucking website. But, you know, I don't know if you do like, do you do any retargeting or anything yet? So you can set it up. That's like level 2, but you don't have to. And now you have a reason to charge more, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it. Like that. Those things are so simple that I'm really like jealous I didn't thought.
No, dude, don't feel happy to like work through this because like I said, and we're going to be selling those services to those businesses where then I can put into place some of the employees that I hire, train them on the systems that I have here, put them into these local businesses, and instead of charging like $15,000 or I'm going to take a percentage ownership of their business, which they can buy back later, and then I put it all into place. Like we put in all the automation, we put in all the software, we put in the videography, we set up, you know, we train your people, we give you an entire marketing department, but I take like 2% of your business, and then you can buy it back in 2 years or whatever if you can't afford the 15 grand. But like, if you want to grow, that's what I do. And you know, dealerships I know, and it's something I want to go into because I know they got deep pockets, but I don't have time for it right now. So you doing this journey, I'm super interested in it. I love to see what you can do. It's super interesting for me. That's what I get out of it. That's why I'm selfishly on this call for you because like sure they would work. I'm curious to see how they play out in this industry. So, you know, for me that's what I get out of it. But, you know, let me know. I'm happy to help, dude.
Of course. Mark, is there anything I can help you right now? Maybe save you time for replying to some emails or maybe
No, dude. I'm telling you, this is seriously, man. I'm telling you, I quit my job 8 months ago and like we run a networking group for local business owners. It's completely free. We've been meeting twice a month. We do it in 2 states and I literally every month, twice a month, I'm giving up my Thursday evenings for about 2 hours, and I help local business owners for free. This is what I love to do, man. It's like what I'm passionate about. But like I said, if you do make it, let me know, like give me updates if it works or whatever, and then like if I can shout you out if like some of this stuff works and be like, hey, like, you know, I'm not stupid. Like, I know this shit. Like, there's this one guy, he asked me, he did the thing that I said and it worked. And I can, because some of these guys don't believe me that, like, this stuff works. And I'm like, oh, you guys are so fucking stupid. So, people just don't want to change, dude. They just like the status quo.
Yeah, you're hearing these things from a person who's working 10 years into the leadership.
Right.
And you say, nah, those don't work.
Dude, trust me. Because people don't like change. They just want everything to stay the same. So,
Yeah, legit.
but anyway, I gotta head out. But you got my WhatsApp, man. Feel free to hit me up whenever if you want to set up another call, dude. It's totally cool. Like I'm telling you, like I work at my own pace. I got these 3 clients. That's all I do. I have a very balanced lifestyle now. You know, so like it's really not a bother. I'm happy to help. You know.
Yeah, all right, Mark. I'm really grateful for the whole thing.
Thanks, man.
I just put my words, but if I cannot express my gratitude in action,
Oh, thanks,
I'm
man.
going to express it in words.
So, all right, man. I'm gonna go. But let me know if you need anything.
All right, Mark. Thank you very much. Have a nice
You're very
day.
welcome. Have a great day. Peace.
Damn, I just don't care. Couple lame niggas in my head, but I fuck the club and don't play what I said. Couple niggas ain't for my head, but I get so down in that zone when I run. I just wanna see all the time like the PlayStation. I look down when they ask where I'm from. Mom used to say, focus on the bag so I gain no sleep. I don't bang no key. Phones looking at my feet when I say for the Vans or Reliques. Niggas say play more heat. A couple niggas say play deep, so I'm back to back with no heat. Said she said it's on key. I gon' rap with no beat like. I might as well pay. I'm tryna find a place in the night time. Tryna find a place where I stay. Tryna find shade. I'm tryna find a place in the night time. Tryna find a place where I stay. Tryna find shade. I'm tryna find a place in the night time. Tryna find a place where I stay. Tryna find shade. I'm tryna find a place in the night time. Tryna find a place where I stay. Stay.
I've been moving faster from the light. I've been losing anger for the fight. I've been feeling homesick by the end. I'm feeling home inside my home. I'm second guessing shit like I don't even know what life was like.